Hello everyone. Today I have with me a special Ivy League. We brought an Ivy League president again to this channel. Who's this beautiful girl with us today? Sister. Oh shit. Okay, sister, will you go ahead, sister of the Lord, and introduce yourself?
Good, Aladi. Hi guys, hi everyone. My name is Tolu Ulukomi. Before I moved to Ithaca, New York, I used to stay in Lagos, Nigeria. I attended Communal University and graduated in 2018. I studied chemical engineering and I'm currently doing my master's at Cornell University studying engineering management. Thank you very much for having me here, Aladi. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Hey Tolu, welcome to the channels. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, guys. I don't want to go into details how I met this awesome girl. All I can say is I'm happy to have her here, and let's get on with the drill. Let's start drilling her. Anyway, the most interesting thing for me is that this girl got here in this 2020. We know what's been going on. I think you got here about, is it last month, or when did you arrive?
I arrived in the US November 1st, 2020.
Well, it's still even this month. You see what I'm saying? Oh God. Okay, so let's start. The first thing I want to talk about is how you, because I don't know, there's so many questions in my head. So I want to start. How did you arrive the US? Were you schooling in Nigeria? Because I know November 1st semester is almost over. So what were you doing? Did you just jump into the class and you started picking up months ago? Or how did you just give us a recap of that?
Such a long story. Well, we'll start. Okay, so first things first, I reached out to Aladi when I got my visa. Sure, before I got my visa, I think I reached out to Aladi and I said, the way things are going, I'm trusting God for a miracle to bring me to the US before the end of this year. And that I'd like to, because I already promised God that if He did it for me, I would share my story and all of that. So even though I had already planned to start a podcast, but I had watched, I'm also an ardent follower of this channel. So I'd watched Jonathan share his own story, and I was like, no, I'm still going to. God, it inspired my faith to still believe that I could make it out to the US this year. And so that was how I sent an email to Aladi that I would also like to share my journey if this comes through. Mind you, I hadn't gotten my visa yet, but I was just trusting God. So how I came here was I had finished my program, Chemical Engineering Communal University in 2018. I had served in 2019. I didn't get retained. So and by 2018, I was already looking to come for my master's. I had joined this master's prep community that helps, other people on this journey of studying abroad. And so we're all doing it together. And I applied to 6 schools. I applied to Stanford University, Purdue University, George Washington University, Northwestern University, Columbia University, and Cornell University, those 6 schools. And then I got into 2, George Washington and Cornell University. I got my admission on the 10th of February 2020 at Cornell University. And none of us had the idea that pandemic was going to hit. We're all living our lives and all of that. March, pandemic hit, and things started to slow down. Although because I'm really an optimistic person and I don't believe my life follows the stats or the statistics of the world, I still had this very rude faith, this very radical faith that I would still come to the US, pandemic or no pandemic, but pandemic could be done by August. And I don't know why, I just kept going with plans. And then eventually I didn't get funding. I was hoping to get funding, but the next month they sent an email saying I didn't qualify for the first round of scholarship. And then I was going to go with George Washington University because they gave me 50% off this total tuition. Then I sent an email to Cornell saying, I got admission here, but I really like to come here. So I tried to bargain it. I had watched a video on YouTube about Akoh and how she bargained her admission to Harvard. And so that's what I did. I was like, I really like to come here. And they say all the stats were in my favor. I'm Black, I'm a minority, I'm female, so hopefully they would want me in their department, But then I was also going on a leap of faith. And I said, and that's how she responded to me saying, okay, she sent me this long letter from the director of the department saying, oh, based on your merit, based on your fine academic record, we have decided to extend you this scholarship. And so that's how they gave me about $35,000 off. My total cost of attendance is $83,200. I would never, that amount was so heavy to call before, but now.
Wow.
I know. So I got this 5,000 off, and that was how the journey to start Cornell's to resume at Cornell started. And yes, so like that. Then we all had airports where I'm going to. Oh, by July, I'd already finished my health requirements. I had paid my service fee. I had, of course, I'd written my GRE and all those other things. I already started preparing to leave, but I couldn't prepare fully. I couldn't book a ticket because of pandemic and all that. And so visas, embassies weren't open. I had attended so many Education USA. I had watched and attended so many of their webinars and preparing to leave and all of that. And Mrs. Yu kept saying we should wait actively. So I had all my ducks in a row, ready to leave Nigeria as soon as the airports were open. And then we now started hearing. I remember when I wasn't getting tired of staying at home. I mean, all of us have how the COVID hit us respectively. But I come from a family of 7, and so it was just like, okay, can my life, it felt like my life was on pause for a long time. So that was how eventually the airports opened. We started hearing that the airports will open 29th of August. I was getting ready. Then they now moved it to September 5th. So I was thinking that, the US embassy would also open at that time. But they said, no, we have 7 heads. We don't open when other people are opening. No problem. Every other person, even my parents didn't have the balance of that. It's 3,200 to pay immediately. But I was like, okay, I'll defer till spring. They said the money would come in January. So I was going to defer to spring all along. But Cornell sent me things to do to set up my email, to set up my 2-factor authentication ID and all of that. And while doing it on the 23rd of June 2020, I just felt it. I was like, oh God, let me just do this and keep this. Let me have the information. But I just felt it that continue with the process. Don't send the email of the friend, because I was like, oh, should I defer? Can I just defer? I'm not really in a hurry. I'll still go in January. There's no point. I can wait another 4 months. No problem. I can be at home and wait another 4 months. But I just heard it and I wrote it down. So I'm going to read it to you guys. So I'm going to read it because I came here. I said I have to give all the facts. Go on with all your school registration processes. Get yourself ready like you are going to resume this fall. That's a very vague instruction, because get yourself ready like you're going to resume this fall. It doesn't say if I'm actually going to resume. It doesn't give me a specific time. It doesn't say, oh, the embassies will open. Get yourself ready. That was all. I just felt it. So even when people saying, are you sure you wait till fall? That's what I really wanted to do. But I was like, oh no, don't worry, I'll continue the process. I feel like every other person that was planning to come to the US deferred their admission till fall, but in Nigeria, not other countries, because Nigerian embassies weren't open. I even had, because I had a UK visa, I was thinking, should I travel to the UK to do my visa? But all those things are extra money, and my parents do not really believe in that. And if it was a lot, I had even already paid for in July, I had paid for my visa interview. Everything I was set and I was ready, but the embassy just refused to open. I don't know, this is why I paused, so this is why I continue, because that's another story. But yeah, the embassy refused to open, and eventually they did open. And look at me now. So yeah. Let me stop here because the story is long.
All the time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've kind of given us a background story.
Okay, so you want me to describe my visa interview experience?
Yeah, how you finally got the date and the experience, whatever.
God, please help me say this story honestly and truthfully. See, that not everybody is going to believe, maybe because it might sound too goddish, but
No.
I have no other way to tell it because I did not do it by my power. So I told you I had booked my visa date July 3rd. I remember I paid to GT Bank. I did everything online. I paid. I got my service ID. My service receipt was already ready. Someone, a family friend in the US, had already helped me pay and everything. So we're still waiting for embassies. I had a friend. Shout out to you, Shama. I had a friend. Her mom works with immigration, and we have spoken to her mom. She said no, they are going to open in November. US embassies aren't going to resume until November. But I was still crazy enough to believe that they would open before November. After all, people said flights are not going to open until next year. Yeah, they opened. They were even one of the first people to reopen. They opened before cinemas. They opened before churches. No, I think churches open first. But so I said, okay, November. But God had already told me. Or let me not say He told me. I said I felt it that I should continue with everything like I was still going to resume this fall. That means do everything like you thought you were resuming in August. So I continued. I hadn't even mailed the embassy up until this point, because I mean everybody was already saying all this. Education USA too was saying they didn't know when embassies were going to be open. But after the flights opened by September 5th, I decided to take a leap of faith. My school said the latest time you could resume in Cornell to be able to qualify for OPT was October 5th, 2020. And I needed to be in school for at least 2 full semesters so I can apply for a summer internship. I mean, that's the whole reason why we're all coming here, right? Not to like stay here. So I was running out of time. So now this is like first week in September. My school expected me to be in school in the next 1 month. So I sent an email to the international office saying that embassies haven't yet resumed. And something I kept doing was I was always keeping tabs with them. I never left them out of the information. When I paid for my visa, I would send an email saying, "Oh, I've finally done my visa. This is the program manager now," because they were aware that there were a few international students like me who were not deferring. So they would keep up with us, and I was also keeping up with them. So I'll tell them, "Oh, I haven't paid for my rent here. I booked a house, an apartment here already." So I was really doing everything like I was going to show when school resumed. Even when I started classes online, I made my hair. I made my hair.
Tell us that part too. Let me.
Oh,
Yeah. You started classes online in Nigeria.
yes, I did. I said
About that part.
Oh yes, I know. I'm still in September. Okay, yes, I'm still in first week of September. So I started school September 2nd, 2020. I started online, and I made up my mind that I was going to make it work. I'm not going to be to drag back in class. I'm not going to be forming. Oh, I'm in a different time zone, and Nigeria at that time was 5 hours ahead. So I reset my clock, and I was like, I'm going to work. I reset all the clocks in the house. I mean, everyone vacated the room for me. I brought in a table and a chair. I meant serious business. During the orientation, even when we had the team hunts, everything that was fun, I participated like I was there. I really needed to make it work, and I really needed to feel. I did not want any minute to pass, and I'll regret, being online. And it did work for me. I mean, I had good grades while I was still like studying online. I would sleep at 12 midnight New York time, which is 5 a.m. Nigerian time, and wake up 12 noon Nigerian time, which is 5 a.m. New York time. So my body was adjusting, and I was really making it work. I would attend classes. I would have my back. When I first started school, I wouldn't do makeup. I would be happy, but the ginger eventually died. But that's so I was still backing all of this with my visa preparations, and so all of a sudden, at last, my school just sent an email on the 21st saying that if I don't get a visa, if I don't have an interview date by 23rd of September, I won't be allowed to come because they can't verify to Department of Homeland Security that I had been in school for at least 2 semesters. And semesters are divided into 2. So the second part of semester was starting 21st of when I leave Nigeria. Second part of semester was starting 21st of October, and you needed me to be in school before then. Now embassies hadn't still opened. So this is when I now knew, okay, I wasn't even praying about it for a long time. But of course, the sadness was there. I mean, even when people would ask, it's like, are you crazy? Why are you still trying to go this year? But I just kept it to myself, and I was like, let me just trust. Since God wants to make me the second Abraham in history, no problem. Let me just continue. Even though it was at my detriment. Even my father would be like, And my father watches CNN a lot. I know Anthony Fauci, who is also an alumni of Cornell, is always there telling us statistics. My father would be like, are you sure you're going this semester? I'm like, yes, my school has resumed. And Cornell had resumed in-person classes. We're running a hybrid system. So, and we get tested every week. So, and I stay upstate. Ithaca is upstate New York. So there are not a lot of people here. So the corona was well managed here. And that's why school could be in session. So my mates were in school. And I mean, I made a lot of virtual friends. I have so many good experiences with studying virtually. And that's why when I moved here, it didn't feel like I was moving to a new place. Maybe I came here, I already scheduled meetups with all my friends from online. So in fact, if you ask about me on the street here, you probably hear that there's a young girl who just resumed because I've been to and I take some classes from business school, so I even have MBA friends. I'm an MBA student by proxy as well, so it's all a good experience. But backdate to when my school sent me that email, I was on a call with my friend resuming my CV. Shout out to you, Pill. And I was like, well, I just got an email now. My school said that if I don't give them a visa date by 23rd of September, I won't be able to resume. My heart just sunk. I was like, how is that even possible? Embassies are resuming in November. Where am I going to start from? Like, how am I going to start begging? I thought the plan was that I even thought that no matter when I resume, they would take me. Because in other schools, the latest time to resume was November 13th. But I cried that day. I couldn't just believe it. I was like, God, please, I can't write my exams in Nigeria. Please don't make me do it here alone. Like, I felt so, it was okay to do the exams. Even doing assignments online, I would always have work sessions with my friends. So now they call it Zoom session. I mean, all of us know we're in Zoom University, but there was still some form of toughness to it. I know people would tell me, oh, I respect the fact that you're trying so hard to make it work from time zone, but I had no choice. I had to make it work. So, you know what, that night, I was like, God, I can't even pray. Like, I don't have the energy to pray. Like, how long am I going to pray to you for? Do you mean that you don't know that I need to resume school before December? Are you not the one that said I should continue? So that night, I was just frustrated. I was like, I'm not going to say anything. But I was just, at the same time, I was angry and I was alone. I told you that I have four beautiful sisters. Shout out to all of them. And then they even had to move out of the room so I could have my space. So that night, I even told, that was trying to get me to compartmentalize my mind so that we could focus on reviewing my CV. Because, you know, as a student, you have to be applying to jobs and internships. But I couldn't concentrate anymore. Either way, after she called the call, it was around 2 a.m. now, which is like their 2 a.m. Nigerian time would be like 9 p.m. New York time. So I was like, So I was like, okay, God, what do I do now? I really didn't have the energy to pray. So I was like, I know, and yes, oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. I had a dream in April 2020. I forgot. I have to add this part. I had a dream in April 2020, and I told my mom in the dream I drove a car. It looked like I finished. I drove a car to a place. It was like I was going for my secondary school reunion. I wore white, and anytime I wear white, it's like special stuff. I wore white. And, you know, I just felt pretty and like a big girl, you know, in that dream. And then when I went into the hall, I noticed that there were like Agberu boys somewhere around the place telling me that I could not stay in a certain place. They started dragging my bag. They took my sunglasses. They were just dragging things from me, like dragging all my new stuff that I came with. Then on my way out, I think they took it from me, but not without a fight, of course. But I remember that after coming out, I looked so tattered. And my friends saw me. I now looked like me that coming, like looking so elegant. I was now leaving, looking so tattered, embarrassed. I didn't want to say hi to those people who saw me. And I went to where they parked my car. I saw that they had stolen my mirrors. You know, typical Lagos stuff. They had stolen my mirrors in the car. They had stolen my windshield, now windscreen, those things that clean the rain. You know, and I was just in the dream. I now saw one of the Agbero boys. I just rushed at him and I was trying to fight him. I was like, you should give me back my stuff. And I was just shouting that they should give me back my things. And eventually, I took some things from them, but not everything. And they left. And one of the guys did me like this, as if to say, we are not done with you or something like that. And I'm sorry to say this on your channel, Aladi, but I have experience with village people. I mean, like, normally. So, when I woke up and I told my mom that dream, she was like, to know that this me in that dream I was even thinking, you know, when the pandemic hit, school started saying that people's funding, they're not sure if they'll give people funding, people who deferred, they're not sure they'll give them funding, and all these funny stories. So in that dream, what I interpreted was that God, they want to take away my funding. It's only because of this funding that my parents have said, okay, you can go to Cornell, we'll figure out how to afford the rest. But so in that dream, I really thought that the devil was coming for my funding. When I mean the devil now, I'm not a Christian that thinks, oh, the devil is in charge of everything. But I'm a Christian that is aware that there are ancestral holds. There are things who don't allow people to finish school. There are things who take people's good stuff from there. So that was all I was thinking. I sent an email to my school the next day to confirm that I still had my funding. And the woman said it black and white, you still have your funding. So I let that dream sit. I was like, oh, that's fine. You know, the devil tried to have me, but God got me. That was all. But then it's now that dawned on me that it felt like if I did not, there was more to lose if I did not act. If I just allowed myself say, oh, I'm not going to resume on time, anything could have gone anyhow. And then we didn't even know if Trump was going to win, Biden was going to win. So I was just acting on Lily, in short. But to cut the long story short, so that same night when I got that email that I won't be able to resume school if I don't have a visa date by 25th September. I told God, I stood up in my room. I remember playing this, but I don't know who sang. That is Femi, or one song called Only You. And I was just saying, God, please, I decree and declare over my life that I will make it to my school this year. That anything I don't want me to be happy, I don't want me to wear my white shirt, drive my fine car. But I was really praying. I was like, God, I don't know what all these things are, and I don't like the fact that I have to battle for all my joys. You know, there's some people life happens to them easily, but there are some of us who have to pray 2 times, 3 times before we get our blessings. You know, people who know this, people who understand me, understand what I'm saying. And so that was how that night I started declaring and saying that I would get my visa date. This I hadn't even mailed the embassy yet. I wanted to speak it. I just wanted to speak it in the atmosphere and believe that my words have power and that I would make it to the US before the end of this year. So the next day, 21st September, I was still contemplating, should I send an email? And already, because if I send an email, let these people think I'm too desperate to come to the US. Why are you so desperate to come to the US? Before they will not say, don't go. I ignored the nudge to send an email on Monday. On Tuesday, it kept coming. So I just sent the email. I said the full story that please, I'm an international student at Akoh University. I have paid my fees because yes, my parents had already paid because I told you I was doing everything like I was going to resume in September. So they had paid the tuition for fall semester in full. I told you I had rent here already, so everything was in full. And then I sent an email that I would like to join my classmates in person before the semester is over. I leave it up there, honest, And then I said, and my school has given me an ultimatum that if I do not have a visa interview date by this time, I would have to defer, and I don't want to defer. And true, I didn't have a valid reason why I didn't want to defer. It's not like I'm rushing or I'm out of time in life or I'm going to die. I just didn't want to defer to spring. And so I waited. 21st, no response. 22nd, no response. I called the embassy. An Indian guy told me to send an email to NIV emergency. If you're a student applying to the US, you probably don't understand. I'll say Lagos NIV at something embassy.gov. whatever. I called the Abuja office. In that email, I copied the Abuja consular. Every single email you could see on the consular page, I copied it. And I sent them, no response. 22nd September. Mind you, my school needed me to get a date by 23rd. If I get a date, she'll be able to change my I-20. And she'll be able to change my start date to resume this fall instead of spring. 24th, no response. So by 24th, I thought it was over. I thought it was over. I didn't thought it was over. And the week, I told you they sent this email on a Friday. That Sunday, I went to church. And mind you, I didn't go to church because the devil tries to make me think I went to church because of this visa, but it's a lie. That's not why. I'd already made up my mind the Sunday before because in my house we're all doing online church. Only my mom used to go to church because of our excuse was COVID. But that day I felt like I was missing God. And I was like, God, I think I should go to church next week Sunday. Although I attend Redeem and not okay, I don't know if I was to say this, but not all the services are so exciting because there are much older people there and we're youth and all that. Then when I now checked the flyer, the title was now oh, this mountain must move. I said, I'm not going again. I'm not going to stop again. Which one is oh, this mountain must move? But God forgive me. But then it was like I was not interested again. But then was a guest minister. And then on Friday again, I was just watching things on YouTube that was just reminding me of God, making me miss God. I was watching someone's testimony of giving birth to twins after so long. So I was like, I'm going to go on Sunday. That Sunday it rained so heavily. I don't know if everybody I have this date somewhere when I was to record my podcast, but it's somewhere. But I know everything happened in the space of 19th to 25th of September. So I know it's the Sunday there. And I went, and when we went to church that day, the guy said that God is leading him to just worship. So imagine if I'd allowed the topic of the sermon to discourage me. When all along God knew that the sermon was never going to happen. Sure. So that Sunday, I remember just pouring out my heart. I was just like, God, I feel like I've had it to hear. Because it's like you're battling with nobody. It's like just defer to spring now. Even if I told my mom, she'd be like, Tolu, let's just do it in spring. Even my father was already ready for me. Everybody thought Corona would be over by December. They were like, just go in. But it's like something was not allowing me to defer. And I'd already gone too far to now say I want to defer. I mean, I'd already started classes. I'd already done tests, assignments. So at that point, I was like, God, okay, even if you don't, I know you might be doing all this. You want to form, you want to test my obedience. Like, the way God did. That Abraham and Isaac story still hits me every time. I know you might be wanting to just test my faith. Okay, now I'm giving you the faith. I've obeyed you. I haven't deferred my spirit. Okay, what next? Now, are you going to allow me actually stay here even if I'm not going to defer? And then that was how that Sunday finished. So now this is 24th of September. I haven't heard anything from the embassy. And I'm supposed to get back to my school the day before. But it's like they gave me 2 dates, 23rd and 25th. So by 11 p.m. just before it was about 24th September, I just started feeling happy. I just didn't want to feel sad. And I think I even had like a work session with my classmates. I didn't just want it to bother me. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get bothered. I'm just going to have faith. And I was just happy. I started dancing. I even put on my Apple Music. I just said, okay, let me just feel like dancing to Nigerian song, Nigerian praise songs. And if you see me, like I attended Korean University. These are things they tell us to do. Like when you cannot pray anymore, you praise, you thank God. So to me, they feel stupid. I'm like, remember, I'm like, okay, Tolu, this is so weird. You're just dancing by yourself. Are you even sure God is here? Are you even sure that he's the one that is making you feel thankful at this moment? Cut the long story short, 25th September, Friday. I think that was a Friday. Friday, 25th September 2020. I got an email from the embassy. Apparently, I'm not the one who got this email, but I believe it's because of me they sent out that email to everybody. Cut me anyway. I don't stand to be corrected. It's because of me they sent that email.